All right, the Imperial System. Now, I mentioned this yesterday, just very briefly. Normally, like this is something I haven't really taught in great detail since maybe 2013, because I used to teach this petroleum engineering course in Canada where the petroleum engineers would use pounds of pressure, so pounds per square inch. They would use pints, quarts, and gallons of gas. And when I came to this country, I mostly taught first year chemistry or first year math, like business math. And we don't deal with this. But luckily, I am a avid baker or cooker of food. I like to cook in the kitchen, and most American recipes you see will measure liquids in quarts and food in ounces or pounds. So this is something I use all the time in the kitchen. So for any of you guys who do like to bake or cook, this might be very useful for you. Section 1.2, we're going to convert the imperial system within itself. What I mean is I'll convert ounces to pounds, I'll convert pints to quarts, quarts to liters. Section 1.3, wink, wink, my old students know what that means, is more important. In section 1.3, we're going to convert the imperial system to metric and back and forth, which will come in very handy. So I'm just going to write down these unit conversions here. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm sorry, I didn't turn my camera on today, guys. I normally will have my camera on at the beginning. It's just I don't feel too good. So I'm just going to write this down in my notebook so we can use these for our calculations on the next page. This is surprisingly easier than the last unit conversions we did. Oh, the US. Yeah, that's something you got to be careful with too. The US quart, or the US gallon, I should say, is different than the UK gallon. How confusing is that? This is why the metric system is so good. You know, you use the metric system, you go to Korea, South Korea, you go to Japan, you go to Mexico, it's all the same. Oh, and one more, 12 inches into feet. Okay, so I've written down in my little notebook all of these conversions. I will give you these on a test. You don't have to memorize the conversions, okay, guys? I'm not going to make you memorize this. What's the point? You guys have, you know, calculators. You have, you know, you can look at this on your phones when you're in real life. Okay, so here's an example. Convert 12 PT. Now, if you play video games, you might think 12 PT means 12 points, but it actually means 12 pints to gallons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by my conversion factor. Anybody with some chemistry experience should remember this. Do you guys remember mole ratio? Everybody's favorite thing, the mole ratio. That's what we call a conversion factor. We did it above. You know, we knew that 1,000 milliliters is equal to 1 liter, and we could do that. In this case, I know that there are 2 pints in one. Sorry, let me write that a little differently. 2 pints equals 1 quart, and I know that 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. Or actually, gallon is GAL because G is grams. Okay, so first things first, I want to if you're really good, you could do this in one step, but like basically what I want to do is I want to go from pints to quarts to gallons, 3 steps. So 1 gallon, I'm going to zoom in here. If I can zoom in. There we go. Okay, 1 gallon is equivalent to 2 pints. So my pints cancel. And then I want the gallons to cancel. Sorry, not gallons. You can tell my brain isn't with it today. 1 quart is equal to 2 pints. I'll show you a couple more of these, don't worry, once my brain turns on. And then 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So the quarts will cancel. So basically, I'm taking 12, dividing it by 2, and dividing it by 4. That's a 4, guys. So basically, you know, I'm going to get a fraction here. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 divided by 4 is, well, let's get this as a decimal. So it turns into 3/2. Or you could just say 1.5 gallons. This is different than Math 1700. I don't care if you use fractions or decimals. You know, as a pharmacy technician, if this was a chemistry situation or a pharmacy situation, decimals are fine. 3/2 is not as nice as say 1/5 when you're measuring something like in a pharmacy lab or a chemistry lab. All right, let's look at another one. So 8 ounces to pounds. All right, I'll do a couple of these, then I'll get you guys to try a couple, and then we'll move on to topic 3. I think you'll like topic 3 a little better. So 8 ounces to pounds. In my experience, something like number 3 is something I do a lot in the kitchen. The recipe might call for like 4 pounds of chicken. And I need to convert it to ounces because I'm only using half the recipe or something. So let's have a look at 1 and 3. So I have 8 ounces. I'm going to pounds. I know that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. Oops. So 8/16 is 1/2, or you could say 0.5 pounds. You'll notice that when you have like more than 1 pound or half a pound, they typically add an S to it. I don't care. Any of my chemistry students know significant figures or units. Like I am looking for units. We typically say pounds plural. But this isn't an English course. If you just said 0.5 lb, that's fine. And notice that's an L, not a 1. That gets confusing too. Okay, so let's do number 3. 4 pounds, 2 ounces. Well, I'm trying to convert to ounces, so I put the ounces on the top. Like this is again a review of what's called dimensional analysis or a conversion factor like we did in chemistry and Math 1700. I'm just trying to cancel my units here. So 4 times 16, what's that? 40, 64 ounces. All right, let's check the chat. Yeah, so I got a private message in the chat there. Thank you to that student. I try to not say your names if you send me a private message. Just, you might be private for a reason, but yes, you are correct. All right, let's try a couple feet ones, and then I'll put you guys to practice, and then we'll move on. The next section, guys, there's a million practice questions here. The next section, we're going to look at things like cubed, like inches cubed, which would be a volume. But anyways, let's try a couple more. So let's try the feet one, 28 inches to feet. Okay, 28 inches. Well, I know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. Inches cancel, so I'm taking 28 and dividing it by 12. That doesn't work evenly, so I'm going to get a decimal for that. So let's see. It's 7/3, but again, guys, this is pharmacy math. You can think of this like chemistry with a bit more math in it. So this would be, 2.33 repeated feet. You could say 2 1/3 feet. But let's use decimals. I don't want to get us too caught up into fractions in this course because, again, in a lab, a pharmacy tech lab, a chemistry lab, like anything real, you use decimals because the equipment you're measuring with or weighing with would not use typically fractions. All right, 2.5 feet to inches, 2.5 feet. This is probably pretty easy for you guys, I hope. 12 inches over 1 foot. The feet cancel. 2.5 times 12. So that would be 20. That would be 30 inches. Okay. Now, if you guys are wondering where do those numbers come from? Where does 1 over 12 come from? Where does 16 over 1 come from? Remember, up above, it said that 1 foot was 16 inches, and it said up above that 16 ounces was 1 pound. So I'm just using these ratios from above. Yes, thank you. Another private message with another answer. Okay, I'm going to do one more and then maybe 2 more and then get you guys to just practice some. I'm going to, after you do a couple practice ones, I'm going to show you something. I have put up something that I'm a little nervous by putting it up, but I think it's going to help you. What I mean is I uploaded a file yesterday that I don't know. It's very good, but maybe too good. Anyways, I'll show you after you guys practice this. So 2 pints. I want to go to quarts. So there in 1 quart, there is 2 pints. You hear this in the medical industry a lot. Like in oil and gas, you would hear gallons a lot. Right? Gallons of oil, barrels of oil. In the medical industry, you might hear pints in terms of blood. So like if somebody donates blood or if they're in an accident and they lose blood, sometimes they talk about pints of blood. And a pint would be like almost half a, yeah, if you guys are metric, if you're thinking about baking, 2 pints you could think of as like almost half of a liter. So like, I don't know anything that, but half of a liter is the best example I can give. Anyways, this ends up just being 1 quart. Excellent. All right. Well, let's do the next one since I'm here. 9.5 pints. Oh no, we already did pints to quarts. Let's try 11, and then I'll let you guys practice. All right. So 36 pints, and I want to go to gallons. Now, I expect this to be a small number. Okay, well, much smaller than 36, but I'm going to make a little note here that there are 2 pints in 1 quart, and there are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. One thing that's important, unless I say otherwise, we are using US gallons. Again, unless I tell you that it's United Kingdom, which to be honest, guys, I don't think I'm going to deal with. Unless I specifically say UK, don't worry about the UK gallons. So I'll be focusing on the US one. Okay, so 36 pints, I'm going to multiply this by 1 quart over 2 pints. That's not enough because I'm still looking for gallons. So I'm going to multiply this by 1 gallon over 4 quarts, and I'll get my answer. This is basically 36 divided by 8, which is 9 over 2 or 4.5 gallons. Nice. So again, well, I don't know what that would be in liters. We'll figure out on the next page. The next topic, we would look at converting gallons to liters. I can't really remember that, but I know a quart is roughly a liter. So this would be like almost 18 liters. So this is, a lot of liquid. Thank you. I'm still there's 2 students in the chat just wrote perfect messages there. they're private messages. I won't say who. You don't need to send me private messages if you don't want to. How much of this do I really want you to practice? I mean, well, guys, just take maybe 2 minutes and try a couple of these. So like, you know, if you wanted to do this side on the right of the screen, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 might be a good little practice, a good little warm up. And I'll give you guys, let's say 2 minutes to try these. And then I'll be back and I'll show you something. So just take 2 minutes. You can put the answers in the chat if you want. You know, you could say number 2 is blah, number 4 is blah. And then I'll be back in, let's say, 2 minutes. All right, good luck. I'm here if you have any questions. Guys, I forgot to hit resume record. My bad. I'll go over this again really quickly. When you guys were practicing these problems, I forgot to hit resume my recording. Anybody who's had me for chemistry know I forget that sometimes. But yeah, question for the people who didn't miss the recording. Does anybody know what this means? Squiggly bracket, squiggly equal sign.
Equivalent.
Sorry, say that again one more time.
Is it equivalent?
Yeah. Oh, equivalent. Let me check the chat here. Asma, you say like the kind of the word that I would say to somebody who not like not a big math person, and I mean that in a good way. Equivalent. Asma's word almost is probably the easiest way to think about it. Reem, that's the way I would think about it, approximately. All of you ladies are right. The squiggly equal sign means it's roughly equivalent or almost equal to or approximately. So, you know, it's not perfect. You know, when I say that 1 milliliter equals, sorry, when I say that 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter, I mean equals, like exact equivalence. When you say 1 gallon squiggly equals 231, in real life, it might actually be, you know, 230.922 or something. So yeah, you're all right. That's perfect. Okay. I do apologize for this is gonna drive you guys nuts, but I have to do it for my YouTube. I do apologize. For anybody joining in on the YouTube, I forgot to hit record. We're changing to a cubic or volumetric number here. And I know that 1 gallon is equal to 231 inches. So what you missed when I didn't hit record, I hope I don't do this every class. I'm trying to be better at it. But what you missed is I took the 1 quart and first I converted it into gallons. So 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. Then I converted it to inches. For the people who were with me a minute ago, I didn't do it all in one step. I did it in 2, but this is the same thing. And we would end up getting 57.75 inches cubed. All right, number 7, and then you guys can practice. And I have one more thing to show you. So 115 inches cubed. First, I'm going to change that to gallons. So 1 gallon is approximately 231 inches cubed. So they cancel. And I'm not looking for gallons. I'm looking for pints. Whoa, this one's a lot of work. So then what I'm going to have to do is change my gallons to quarts. So there's 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Then I'm going to change it to pints. There's 2 pints in 1 quart. That was a long one. Look at that. You do not have to do all of this in one step, by the way. You could do this in multiple steps. So 115 divided by 231. Then I'm going to times it by 4 and times it by 2. And I get 3.0 3.98 pints. All right, that's it. So about 4 pints. For my students here, or for all of you wondering about decimal places, wondering about sig figs, this is not chemistry. Don't write a million decimal places. Like my calculator right now says 3.982683983. Do not do that. Just do, 3 or 4 decimals, and I'm happy with that. Okay, don't write me a million decimals. And Kalsum, thank you for that in the answers. I was a little nervous that I made a mistake, but if Kalsum got 3.98, then I trust my calculations. So guys, just take a minute or two, try 8 and 6, and then I have one more section to show you, and halas, we're finished for today. All right, so take a few minutes, try 6 and 8, and I'll be back. And I promise I'll hit resume record again. Oh, I feel so bad I did that. All right, so take 2 minutes, try 6 and 8. I didn't hit record again, Dominique. You are a lifesaver, and I'm a silly person. So let's check your answers. So again, the answers you should get, I think the person who got it wrong fixed their answers. All of the answers are here in the Unit 1 lecture notes solutions. But let's look at least question 6 to see where we're getting the actual number. So, all right, 400 inches cubed. Yeah, so Kalsum, we've confirmed the answer to number 6, but let's just write it really quick. So first things first, I'm going to change it to gallons. Oops, you don't need to write the word inches, do you? Cubed. Then I'm going to convert the gallons to quarts. And that's it. Okay, so this would be, I know it's 6. Well, I know the answer, yeah. So 6.93 quarts. Cool. Excellent. For the bottom one, 18 points. If anybody doesn't know, I'm a bit busy now, but I typically play a lot of video games. So to me, PT is points. But when you're not playing video games, it's pints. So 18 pints, I want to change it to gallons. So I'm going to first change it to quarts. I know that in 1 quart, there is 2 pints. I know that in 1 gallon, there's 4 quarts, and then I can do my conversion. This is what I'm doing, by the way, is a very useful topic. It's called dimensional analysis. And, if any of you go on to do a university degree, you do some more math, you do something else, it's such a useful thing. It's truly amazing. I wish I learned it in high school. I didn't learn it until university. Anyways, there we go. 519.75 inches cubed. All right, guys, let's move on. I hope you guys are okay. If anybody's having problems with this, send me a message. I have office hours. You don't need to meet me in office hours. I can meet you in the evening, maybe after you've eaten. Like I stay up pretty late. I'm a bit of a night owl type of person. So I'm up till 11 or 12. Not that I would want to meet you guys at 11 or 12, but, after you guys have eaten and relaxed for a bit, if you wanted to, meet me for some help, and I especially later in the course when we do more complicated things. You don't have to meet me during class hours. We can meet at 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night. I don't care. We're all under lockdown basically. So what else am I going to do? Okay, this is a great section. Now we won't finish this today. I'm just going to introduce it. Kind of explain some of these conversions. We might practice a few of them and then finished. Halas, you guys can take a break. This is important because the metric system and imperial system are commonly used like in conjunction, in combination. I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but like, you go to the UK, and the UK is, England. You're driving around Scotland or England, and these countries are metric, just like Canada, but the speed limit is in miles per hour. When you get gas, I'll never forget it. I was in Scotland at one point many, many years ago, back when we could travel, and I was getting gas, and they did the gas in gallons, and I was so confused. This is a metric country. Why aren't they measuring it in liters? In Canada, you see this a little bit. Typically, we're fully metric in Canada. But if you were in Canada and you asked anybody, any Canadian, you asked them how tall they would tell you in feet and inches. Nobody knows their height in centimeters or meters in Canada. It is on your driver's license. So my Canadian driver's license says I'm like 1.7. I'm not a tall guy, 1.7, I think, meters or something. But I don't even know. I know that I'm around 5'7" with shoes on, 5 feet 7 inches. So what I'm saying is the metric system is used in most of the world, but the imperial system kind of creeps its way in. And in the medical industry and petroleum, oil and gas industry, you will still see a lot of imperial units. I've talked about pints of blood, gallons of oil. So we're going to look at how to convert between some of these. For any cookers, people who cook or bake, this is something that you might use. Like, I prefer to work in grams when I bake, or milliliters, but some American recipes give me ounces, or they give me quarts. Sorry, my brain is dying. So all of these conversions are approximate. Metric conversions are exact. Going from metric to imperial are approximate. They've all been rounded. You can see more of these in your textbook. Now, your textbook, what I mean by your course notes, I think, no, actually, you might not see this. You guys don't buy a textbook anymore. You can see a more complete list online. So if you want to look at more of this, just go metric, just Google metric to imperial. We used to use a textbook years ago, but I don't think we use a textbook anymore. But yeah, so here we go. Well, let's just try a couple. I'll finish in like 5 minutes. Basically, what I'll do is I'll show you a couple of examples, and then maybe I'll ask you guys tonight while you're waiting for me to practice. And we'll do time tomorrow maybe. And then actually tomorrow, we'll get into pharmacy problems, which will be pretty fun. I'll save time for tomorrow, but time you guys did in Math 1700, very easy. So let me show you an example. Maybe we'll do one for practice, and then I'll leave it for you guys. Example. Convert 8. Oh, well, let's keep my cheat sheet up here. This, of course, will be given on a test. You do not need to memorize this. There's no conversion factors that I'll make you memorize. So the question is, convert 8 ounces to grams. This is a really good practice problem if you do bake or cook. Ounces. Well, if I get a recipe that gives me ounces, but my kitchen scales only weigh grams, what do I do? Well, first, you don't see ounces up here. Okay, there are no ounces, but I know that there are 16 ounces in a pound. So the first thing I'm going to do is convert ounces into pounds. So 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces, and my ounces will cancel. And then now that I know pounds, I can convert it into grams. There we go. So 8 divided by 16 is a half. And then I'm going to multiply that by 454. So I get 227 grams. There you go. Easy, easy, nothing to it. There was something I was just going to mention here. Oh, one little hint before I move on. And I haven't really mentioned this yet, but put the unit you want on top. Right? I'm looking for grams. Make sure the unit you're looking for is on top. This is something we talked about in chemistry, required over given or want over have. Make sure when you're doing these conversions, the unit you're looking for, first I look for pounds, then I look for grams. So pounds and grams were on top. Well, first pounds are on top, then grams are on top. All right. Ooh, okay. Hold on 1 second, length. All right, I'm just gonna do 2 more and then I'm gonna leave it. I'll let you guys go after 2 more. And what I do, or what I'm gonna say is I encourage you guys tonight or tomorrow to practice this and we can look at some answers tomorrow. Sorry, I'm just writing a couple things down. This is something I should know, but I always forget. Changing centimeters to inches or, something I typically forget. So let me do, what do I want to do? Let me just do 1 and 2, and I'll save the rest for you guys to practice tonight or tomorrow, and we'll look at the answers. So let's look at 1 and 2. Question number 1, easy. 250 centimeters, and I want to change it to inches. Well, I know from the chart above, I know that 1 inch is equivalent to 2.54 centimeters. Easy conversion. This is a good warm up. So 1 inch over 2.54, you'll get your answer. You guys are such a good group, and I know you're a good group because half of you have taught before, more than half. You haven't mentioned this yet, but I had a question in Math 1700 where a student was like, do I have to put in the units? No. Like, I would love to see the units. I would love to see you guys cancel the units. You do not need to put in the units, okay? So I get 98.4. I'm just going to put 1 decimal place. This is an approximate conversion anyways, 98.4 inches. Yep, Kalsum, thank you. I appreciate you doing that, Kalsum, or any student, because if you get it right, I assume that we both got it right. The problem is if we get different answers, one of us is wrong, and it's probably going to be me. Okay, I want to change 9 centimeters to feet. Well, if you go up to this chart, there's no direct conversion. There's nothing up there that will change centimeters to feet. But I can change centimeters to inches. And if I have inches, I can change it to feet. So let's do that. Let's change this to inches. So 1 inch over 2.54 centimeters. And guys, now that I know centimeters, well, I know that there's 12 inches in 1 foot. When you're doing this as practice, it might be a good idea for you guys to take a piece of paper and write down all of these conversion factors and kind of keep it with you as a cheat sheet. It'll help you when studying this or when practicing this. So next, I'm going to change it to feet. I know in 1 foot, there is 12 inches. That's it. So this is going to be small. 9 centimeters is not much of a foot. So 9 divided by 2.54 divided by 12, 0. I mean, realistically, it's 0.3 feet. So let's just say that. Well, no. Okay, it's 0.295 feet. you could easily say 0.3 feet. Again, I'm not looking for significant figures here. Although I will say, when you're dealing with medicine, you want to be careful with your significant figures. There's a big difference between 0.295 milligrams and maybe 0.3 milligrams. Maybe not a big difference, but there is a difference. Okay, guys, that's it. Halas, we're finished. I started 10 minutes late, so I went a little bit longer than I think I needed to. I highly encourage you guys to practice some of these. Some of these are actually quite difficult, which is really good for practice, because if you can do these challenging ones, you can do anything. But I'm going to leave it at that. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, have a great day. Good luck with your second vaccines, everybody, whoever's getting them. And if there's any questions, let me know.